If you wait for the world to shape you into the man you were born to be, you'll become everything you were never meant to be. Men today aren't struggling because they lack talent. They're struggling because they've never seen a real example of integrity. They've never been shown how to hold the line when fear rises, when disapproval stings, when no one else agrees. Because to that man, the man who speaks truth, stands tall, and never folds under pressure, you don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be honest. And you do need to do the work when no one's watching. But before we break down how to become him, there's one uncomfortable shift you have to make. You don't build self-respect by being liked. You build it by living in truth. What happens the moment a man lies to himself? He trades strength for approval. He chooses comfort over courage. And slowly, he stops trusting his own reflection. But the man who tells the truth, even when it hurts, even when it costs him friendships, comfort, or peace, that man becomes something rare. That man becomes unshakable. Integrity doesn't mean being perfect. It means aligning your actions with your values. It means saying, "I will," and doing it. It means letting your yes men yes, and your no men no. And in a world full of noise, fakes, and flattery, the man who lives in truth stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. But living in truth is only one side of the equation. What happens when fear tries to shut the truth down before it even escapes your mouth? That's where the real battle begins. Fear is the gatekeeper. It guards the life you were meant to live. But here's what most men never realize. You don't eliminate fear by waiting until it disappears. You eliminate fear by facing it, again and again, until it stops being the loudest voice in the room. And when you do, you earn something far more powerful than confidence. You earn courage. You become the man who doesn't flinch in the face of confrontation. The man who can look someone in the eye and say what needs to be said, not what they want to hear. Not because you're cruel, not because you're cold, but because you refuse to lie to protect their comfort at the cost of your soul. This kind of courage isn't loud. It's not aggressive. It's humble. And humility? That's the secret weapon. Because a humble man isn't controlled by his ego. He's guided by his values. But how do you maintain that kind of composure when pressure builds, emotions spike, and life gets loud? It all comes down to one skill most men ignore. A real man doesn't suffocate his feelings or pretend they don't exist. He channels them, transforms them into fuel, and leverages that energy to move forward. The strongest men you'll ever meet aren't devoid of emotion. They're carefully honed and refined by experience. They don't let fear seize the steering wheel, taking them down roads they never intended to travel. They don't allow anger to run the show or crowd out their better judgment. And they certainly don't let anxiety speak on their behalf, shaping how they see themselves or how they engage with the world. They feel with open hearts. They process with deliberate thought, and afterward, they lead from a place of calm resolve. Because the man who governs himself first, he can't be ruled by any external force. This is where so many people misunderstand the concept of strength. They think stoicism equals a lack of emotion. They assume that if you're quiet, you must be weak, uncertain, or hiding. But real silence, when anchored in self-control, not fear, is a form of power that few truly grasp. It's the stillness before your insight crystallizes into action. It's the single breath that separates an impulsive reaction from a principled response. It signals that you're not a prisoner to your immediate feelings. You've taken charge of them, so your next move is guided by what you value most. And when you consistently live in that measured space, people start to notice, even if you never drew attention to it. Not because you're showy, not because you're trying to dominate every conversation, but because your presence speaks on its own. There's a recognizable weight behind your words, a stability in your daily actions, an authority that belongs to the man who shows up, does his work, and backs his promises with results. Ultimately, the essence of this kind of self-mastery is felt, not just heard. When you practice channeling your emotions rather than denying them, your confidence grows from a real source, your own integrity and discipline. Over time, you become the solid ground others seek when their own lives turn tumultuous. They sense that calm undercurrent in you, a stillness that springs not from apathy, but from carefully cultivated inner strength. So, be that man, not the one who needs applause, not the one who bends to pressure, but the one who follows through, the one who holds the line, the one who chooses truth, courage, and calm, even when fear says run. Now, ask yourself, where have you been compromising? Where have you been hiding your truth? Start there. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Because the man you're meant to be isn't found in the future. He's built today. And if you're ready to become him, one step, one habit, one truth at a time, click the playlist on screen and keep going. Because the world needs more men like that. Men who live with integrity, who speak with courage, and who never let fear define their path. Be that man.